My girlfriend said, "You're too available. It's boring." So when I showed up with lunch unannounced, I caught her with her unavailable ex. I didn't make a scene. I just smiled, left, and let her discover what unavailable really means. All right, Reddit. This one's fresh. Like, happened 2 months ago, fresh. I'm finally ready to share because honestly, the aftermath has been better than anything I could have scripted. My ex-girlfriend told me I was too available and that it made me unattractive. Turns out she preferred someone unavailable, specifically her ex-boyfriend, who was too busy cheating on her to give her attention. When I caught them together, I didn't yell or make a scene. I just smiled, walked away, and showed her what real unavailability looks like. I, 28 male, and my life is pretty structured. Gym at 5 a.m., work by 7, home by 6, weekends for hobbies and friends. I'm not exciting, but I'm reliable. Thought that was a good thing. Spoiler alert, apparently not. The condo I own is a 2-bedroom in the Pearl District. Bought it 3 years ago when the market dipped slightly. Nothing crazy, about 1,100 square feet, but it's mine. Paid my own down payment, handle my own mortgage, even did some of the renovation work myself. Replaced the kitchen counters, repainted every room, installed new fixtures in both bathrooms. My dad taught me basic carpentry and plumbing growing up, and those skills saved me thousands. My now ex-girlfriend Brittany, 26 female, worked in graphic design at a marketing agency downtown. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue about 18 months ago. She was cute, had this bubbly personality, always posting aesthetic photos on Instagram, the kind of girl who could make a random coffee shop look like a magazine spread. She had about 3,000 followers and took her content creation seriously, always angling for the perfect shot, using those preset filters that made everything look vintage. We hit it off immediately. She thought it was so mature that I had my life together, owned property, had a retirement account at 28. Looking back, that should have been my first red flag. She was attracted to stability, not to me. She liked the idea of dating an engineer with a condo and a 401k. The actual person inside that package? That became irrelevant pretty quick. The first year was solid, though. We'd do normal couple stuff. Brunches at this place on 23rd that made ridiculous pancakes, hikes in Forest Park, Netflix binges while eating takeout Thai food, meeting each other's friends. She'd sleep over at my place most weekends since her apartment was smaller, and had a roommate who apparently never cleaned and played loud music at weird hours. I'd help her with rent sometimes when design work was slow. Graphic designers at smaller agencies don't make bank, and her freelance gigs were inconsistent. Paid for most of our dates because I made more. Standard relationship dynamics. I never tracked the money or kept score because I figured we were building something together. Her apartment was in Southeast Portland, this older building with thin walls and sketchy parking. She shared a 2-bedroom with a girl named Jess, who worked at a coffee roastery and had a rotating cast of boyfriends. Brittany complained about it constantly. The noise, the mess, how she couldn't have people over without coordinating with Jess first. My place became the default hangout spot pretty quickly. Around the 1-year mark, things started shifting. Brittany began making these comments about how I was always around and too predictable. At first, I thought she was joking. "You're like a golden retriever," she said one night while we were watching a movie on my couch. Some romantic comedy she'd picked that I was only half paying attention to. Always happy to see me. Always available. Always eager to help. I laughed it off. That's a bad thing? It's just, guys who are too available aren't that attractive, you know? There's no chase. No mystery. I remember thinking that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. We're adults in a relationship, not playing games in high school. But I let it go because I figured she was just venting after a long week. Then the comments got more frequent and more pointed. Tyler never answers my texts right away. It's so frustrating but also kind of hot. Tyler was her coworker, some hipster dude with a man bun who wore vintage band shirts and made experimental coffee. The kind of guy who thinks having a vinyl collection is a personality trait. She'd mention him more and more, always comparing how mysterious and independent he was compared to me. "He's just so busy with his side projects," she'd say. Like, he's always working on something creative. Photography, music, art installations. He doesn't have time to just sit around. Meanwhile, I'm apparently sitting around when I'm not at work. Never mind that I was renovating my bathroom, coaching a youth robotics team on Saturdays, and training for a half marathon. Those didn't count as interesting hobbies, apparently. "Maybe you should be less available," she suggested one evening while I was cooking us dinner. I'd made this chicken stir-fry from scratch. Chopped all the vegetables, made my own sauce, the whole thing. Like, don't always answer my calls immediately. Make me wonder what you're doing. "I answer because I want to talk to you," I said, genuinely confused. "Why would I play games?" She sighed like I was missing the point. "It's not games, Austin. It's attraction, psychology. Guys who are too available just aren't as appealing. Austin. That's me. And apparently, being a decent boyfriend was my fatal flaw. The weirdest part was her obsession with this pickup artist garbage she'd been reading online. She'd send me articles about high-value men and maintaining frame and all this other nonsense wanted me to act more aloof, more distant, more like I didn't care. One article she sent was titled, "Why Women Are Attracted to Unavailable Men," and it was the most toxic garbage I'd ever read. Basically said that women biologically respond to men who are emotionally distant because it triggers their need to win them over. Pure pseudoscience wrapped in misogyny. "You're too invested," she told me, after I surprised her with takeout from her favorite Thai place when she mentioned having a rough day. "It's suffocating. Being thoughtful was suffocating." Got it. My best friend Dylan saw through it immediately. We've been boys since college. He's a straight shooter who doesn't sugarcoat anything, works as a financial advisor, has his own life figured out, and has zero patience for relationship drama. When I told him about Brittany's too available comments, he just shook his head. "Dude, she's telling you she wants to chase after guys who treat her like garbage," he said while we were shooting hoops at the park near my place. It was a Sunday afternoon, warm enough that we'd drawn a small crowd of kids watching us play. "That's not a you problem. That's a her problem. She says unavailable guys are more attractive." Yeah, and look how that worked out for her with Brandon. Brandon, her ex-boyfriend. The guy she dated for 2 years before me. From what she told me early on, Brandon was a nightmare. Constantly flaky, forgot important dates, prioritized his boys over her, probably cheated at least once. She'd spent those 2 years in emotional turmoil, always wondering where she stood with him. That relationship ended when she caught him with another girl at a party. She was devastated for months afterward. When we got together, she said she was done with guys like Brandon and wanted someone stable and reliable. Guess that got boring. Brandon worked in sales for some tech startup, the kind of place with ping pong tables and beer on tap that tries to disguise terrible work-life balance as culture. He was the typical bro type, backward baseball cap, expensive sneakers, always talking about his gym routine or his fantasy football league. Brittany had shown me pictures from when they dated, and every photo was the same. Him looking at his phone or talking to someone else while she clung to his arm trying to get his attention. "I'm just worried she's romanticizing that toxic garbage," Dylan said, sinking a three-pointer. "Women do that sometimes. Forget how bad it actually was, and only remember the excitement of the drama." I didn't want to believe him, but then Brittany started spending more time with her old friends and being vague about her plans. She'd cancel our weekend plans last minute because something came up with the girls. Her texting became sporadic. Sometimes she'd respond immediately. Other times I'd wait hours for a reply. The irony wasn't lost on me. She wanted me to be less available, so she made herself less available classic. I started noticing other things too. She'd check her phone constantly when we were together, angling it away so I couldn't see the screen. She'd smile at texts and then quickly lock her phone when I glanced over. Started dressing up more for work, outfits that required effort, full makeup, hair done perfectly. When I complimented her, she'd say she was just trying to be more professional or experimenting with new styles. 3 weeks ago, things came to a head. We had plans for a Saturday, farmer's market in the morning, lunch at this sandwich place we both liked, maybe catch a movie at the indie theater Friday night. She texted, "Hey, can we rain check tomorrow? Amanda's going through something and needs me." Amanda was her best friend since college. So fair enough, I said no problem, hoped Amanda was okay, told her to take all the time she needed. But Saturday morning, I saw Brittany's Instagram story. She wasn't consoling Amanda. She was at some brunch spot downtown with a group of people I didn't recognize. Mimosas and aesthetic latte art everywhere. The location tag said it was this trendy place in the Alberta Arts District that had a 2-hour wait on weekends. She was laughing in the video, doing that thing where she'd flip her hair and pose with her drink. No sign of emotional support or crisis management. Just brunch with people who weren't me, and definitely weren't Amanda in distress. I didn't call her out, just filed it away. Added it to the growing pile of weird behavior that my gut was telling me meant something. The next Thursday, I decided to surprise her. She'd been stressed about a big project at work, some rebranding campaign for a local restaurant chain that had a tight deadline. Mentioned she'd probably be working through lunch to get everything done. I figured I'd do something nice. Show up with lunch from that sandwich place she loves, maybe brighten her day. The thoughtful boyfriend move that apparently made me unattractive, but whatever. I left work around 11:30, drove to the sandwich shop, waited in line for 15 minutes, got her the turkey club with avocado and extra pickles that she always ordered. Added a bag of those kettle chips she liked and a lemonade. The whole thing cost like $20, but she was worth it. Or so I thought. Her office building has this open lobby with a receptionist desk, but I'd been there enough times that security recognized me. The main guard, older guy named Tom, who always had crossword puzzles at his station, waved me right through when I held up the sandwich bag. Lunch delivery? He said, smiling. Trying to score some boyfriend points. Good man. She's lucky. If only he knew. I took the elevator to the third floor where her design studio was located, sandwich bag in hand, feeling pretty good about being a decent human. The elevator doors opened, and I walked down the hallway past conference rooms, with glass walls where people were having meetings. The design studio was at the end of the hall, through double doors that were usually propped open. The studio has this open floor plan, with cubicles and workstations scattered around. Exposed brick walls, industrial lighting, the typical creative agency aesthetic. Most people were at their desks, heads down, working. I scanned for Brittany's area in the back corner. She liked being away from the main traffic so she could concentrate better. That's when I saw her. Brittany was at her desk, but she wasn't alone. Some guy was leaning against her workspace, and they were laughing about something. Her hand was on his arm, and she had that look, the one where her eyes get all sparkly and she does this thing where she tilts her head and plays with her hair. The body language was unmistakable. This wasn't coworker small talk. This was flirting, heavy flirting. As I got closer, I realized who it was, Brandon, her ex-boyfriend. The unavailable guy who'd treated her like garbage and probably cheated on her. They were so absorbed in their conversation they didn't notice me approaching. I could hear their voices now, hear the familiarity and comfort that comes from history. I caught fragments of what they were saying. Remember that time at the lake house? Brandon was saying, grinning like an idiot. His teeth were too white, probably bleached. He was wearing one of those tight V-neck shirts that showed off his gym muscles. Oh my gosh, yes! Brittany was practically glowing. Her whole face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. That was such a good weekend. We should totally go back sometime. Her hand was still on his arm. He was looking at her the way guys look at girls they're sleeping with, not girls they dated 2 years ago. The way his eyes kept dropping to her lips, the way he was leaning into her space, it was all there. I stopped about 10 feet away. Just watching, part of me wanted to announce myself. But another part, the petty part, wanted to see how this played out. Wanted to see how long it would take them to notice me standing there like an idiot with a sandwich bag. Brandon said something that made her laugh, and she playfully shoved his shoulder. That's when Tyler walked by, the hipster coworker she'd been going on about. He had his laptop under one arm and a coffee in his hand, heading toward the break room. He saw them, saw the body language, then noticed me standing there. His expression said it all. Dude, I'm sorry you're seeing this. Tyler caught my eye, looked at Brittany and Brandon, then back at me. His face went from neutral to sympathetic. In about 2 seconds, he gave me this little head shake, like, this is bad. I held up the sandwich bag and raised an eyebrow at Tyler. Like, should I even bother? He just shook his head more definitively and mouthed, sorry, before disappearing into the break room like he wanted no part of whatever was about to happen. That's when I decided on my approach. No drama, no scene, no emotion, just acknowledgement and exit. I walked up casually, stopped right next to Brittany's desk, and cleared my throat. Hey! Brittany's head snapped toward me, and the color drained from her face. Her hand jerked away from Brandon's arm like she'd been burned. Austin, what are you? I didn't. Brought you lunch, I said, holding up the bag. My voice was calm, almost cheerful, like I'd just walked into a normal situation and not whatever this was. Then I looked at Brandon and extended my hand like we were meeting at a business conference. You must be Brandon, heard a lot about you. Brandon, to his credit, looked confused but shook my hand anyway. His grip was firm, probably one of those guys who thinks a handshake is a dominance thing. Yeah. And you are? Austin, the boyfriend. I turned back to Brittany, who looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole. Her face had gone from pale to bright red, and her mouth was opening and closing, like she was trying to form words but nothing was coming out. Well, I guess technically I'm the too available boyfriend, the boring one, the golden retriever. I set the sandwich bag on her desk, right next to her keyboard. She stared at it like it was a bomb. Anyway, you two clearly have catching up to do. I'll let you get back to it. Brittany stood up so fast her chair rolled backward and hit the cubicle behind her. Austin, wait. This isn't... Brandon just stopped by to... Save it, I said calmly, smiling even. The smile felt weird on my face, but I maintained it because I knew it would unsettle her more than anger would. You want it unavailable? You got it. Have a good one. I turned and walked out. Didn't look back, didn't wait for an explanation, didn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me upset. Just headed straight to the elevator with my head up and my shoulders back. Behind me, I could hear Brittany's voice getting louder, panicked. Austin, please! It's not what you think. Come back! The elevator doors closed before she could reach me, and I watched her face disappear as the numbers counted down. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, lobby. Tom the security guard looked up as I walked past. That was quick. She not hungry? She's got other plans, I said, and kept walking. The drive home was surreal. No anger, no heartbreak, just this weird calm acceptance. Like when you finally understand the answer to a problem that's been bugging you, Brittany didn't want a relationship. She wanted the drama and uncertainty of chasing someone who didn't give a damn about her. And I wasn't going to compete with that. My hands were steady on the wheel. My breathing was normal. I felt nothing. Or maybe not nothing. Maybe just clarity. The fog that had been clouding my judgment for months had suddenly lifted, and I could see everything for what it really was. When I got home, I did what any rational person would do. I blocked her number, went into my contacts, found her name, and hit the block button. Then I blocked her on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, every platform. Spent about 10 minutes going through my social media and systematically removing her from my digital life, went into my phone and deleted all our photos together. About 400 pictures documenting 18 months of relationship. Hit select all, hit delete, confirm deletion gone. Took the picture of us from my desk. This one from a hiking trip where we'd reached the summit of Mount Hood and gotten someone to take our photo with the view behind us. And tossed it in the trash. Didn't even take it out of the frame. Just dropped the whole thing in the kitchen garbage. Boxed up the stuff she'd left at my place. Some clothes in my closet, toiletries in the bathroom, a couple books on my shelf, her favorite coffee mug. Found a cardboard box in my storage closet and methodically packed everything. Her purple toothbrush, her face wash, the overnight bag she kept here, 3 pairs of shoes, a hoodie that said Portland Coffee Festival 2023, 2 photography books she'd been reading, her phone charger, a half-empty bottle of the expensive shampoo she liked. Set it all by the door, taped it shut, wrote Brittany on the side with a Sharpie. Then I texted Dylan. You were right, it's over. He called immediately. What happened? I explained the whole thing. The surprise lunch, catching her with Brandon, the hand on his arm, the body language, the calm exit. Dude, that's ice cold. I'm proud of you. Thanks. I feel fine, actually. Weirdly fine. That's because you saw it coming. Your gut knew something was off. He was right. Some part of me had known for weeks that Brittany was checking out of the relationship. The Brandon thing just confirmed it. My subconscious had been picking up signals that my conscious mind didn't want to acknowledge. She's going to blow up your phone, Dylan predicted. When the shock wears off and she realizes you're actually done, she's going to panic. Already blocked her. Smart. Stick to it. No matter what, I've seen guys cave after the crying starts. Don't be that guy. I won't. Good. Want me to come over? We can order pizza, play some games, pretend women don't exist for a few hours. Nah, I'm good. Just gonna decompress. That night, I ordered pizza, played video games, and went to bed at a reasonable hour. Slept like a baby. No tossing and turning. No obsessing over what I'd seen. No wondering if I'd overreacted. Just solid, dreamless sleep. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. See, I'd blocked Brittany, but I hadn't blocked her friends. And apparently, she'd spent all evening trying to reach me, freaking out when she couldn't, then enlisted her entire social circle to do the same. My phone had 17 missed calls and about 30 texts from various people. From Amanda. Austin, Brittany is freaking out. Please call her, she's sorry. She swears nothing happened. She's been crying all night. From her roommate, Jess. She made a mistake, but she loves you. Please give her a chance to explain she's a mess right now. From Tyler, the hipster coworker. Dude, she's been crying at work all morning. Maybe hear her out? She says it's all a misunderstanding. I'm from numbers I didn't recognize. This is Brittany's cousin, sister, friend, coworker. She needs to talk to you. She's really sorry. Please call her. I ignored all of it. Went to the gym, went to work, lived my life. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and focused on what I could control. At the gym, I ran 5 miles on the treadmill, faster than usual, pushing myself until my lungs burned and my legs ached. Physical exertion felt good, felt real, felt like something I could quantify and measure and improve. At work, I threw myself into a project redesigning a conveyor system that had been giving us problems, lost myself in CAD drawings and stress calculations and material specifications. My team noticed I was quieter than usual, but nobody asked questions. They probably figured I was just in the zone. Then the emails started. Brittany's personal email, her work email, even a message through LinkedIn. Austin, please. I need to explain. Brandon just showed up unannounced. We were just talking. Nothing happened. You're overreacting. Please call me. We can work this out. I miss you. Overreacting. That word did make me laugh. I'd caught her being emotionally intimate with her ex, the guy she'd supposedly moved on from, after weeks of her telling me I was too available and boring, and I was overreacting by walking away calmly. The LinkedIn message was particularly ridiculous. Her opening line was, I hope you're doing well professionally. Like we were networking contacts, Not two people who'd been in a relationship for 18 months. I didn't respond to any of it. Just archived the emails, marked them as read, and moved on with my day. Dylan came over that weekend with pizza and a six-pack of craft sodas from this place. He knew, give me the update. How's the fallout? She's been trying to contact me through everyone we know. I'm ignoring all of it. Good. Let her sit with it. He opened a pizza box. Half pepperoni, half veggie. What's the flying monkey situation looking like? Her friends keep saying I'm overreacting, that I should at least hear her out. Of course they are. They want the drama to resolve so they can stop being in the middle of it. Don't give in. That's when he told me something interesting. Also, I heard through Jake that Brandon's been telling people he and Brittany are getting back together. Jake was another mutual friend who knew Brandon from college. They'd been in the same house. Apparently, Brandon had been bragging at a party last weekend that he still had it with his ex, talking about how Brittany had finally realized what she was missing. She's probably going to run back to him, Dylan said, taking a bite of pizza. He'll treat her like garbage again. She'll realize what she had with you, and then she'll come crawling back. And I'll still say no. Exactly. You're not a backup plan. You're not a safe option she gets to return to when the exciting option doesn't work out. We spent the rest of the evening playing video games and talking about anything except Brittany. Dylan filled me in on his work drama. Some client who kept changing their mind about retirement accounts. I told him about the conveyor project and the youth robotics team I coached, normal life stuff. It felt good. Monday morning brought the real entertainment. I was at my desk at work when I got an email from an address I didn't recognize, subject line. You deserve to know the truth. I almost deleted it as spam, but curiosity got the better of me. The sender's name was Jennifer, which meant nothing to me. The email was from someone named Jennifer who claimed to be Brandon's girlfriend. Wait, what? Brandon had a girlfriend? Apparently, Brandon had a whole other life that Brittany didn't know about. Jennifer, an apartment across town in Beaverton, and a relationship of about 8 months. Jennifer had found out about Brittany through mutual friends who'd seen them together at that brunch place. Someone had tagged Brandon in a photo, and Jennifer had recognized him. She'd done some digging, put the pieces together, and was understandably upset. She'd confronted Brandon over the weekend, who admitted he'd been reconnecting with his ex, but swore nothing physical had happened yet. The yet being the operative word. Jennifer didn't believe him and wanted me to know that both of us had been played. She said she felt like I had a right to know what kind of person Brittany really was. She'd attached screenshots of text exchanges between Brandon and Brittany going back about 3 weeks. The messages were flirty, nostalgic, exactly what you'd expect from two people rekindling something. Brandon. Been thinking about you a lot lately, miss what we had. Brittany. I miss it too. Things with Austin are just so boring. He's like a puppy. Always there, always eager. There's no excitement. Brandon. I remember you liked excitement. Should grab drinks and catch up properly. Brittany. I'd like that. When are you free? Brandon. Tuesday night? That place on Hawthorne we used to go to? Brittany. Perfect. Can't wait to see you. The timeline made sense. The rain check Saturday when she'd claimed Amanda needed her? She'd been out with Brandon. The late-night texts that took hours to answer? She was probably texting him instead. The extra effort with her appearance? She was trying to impress him. 3 weeks of planning and flirting behind my back while telling me I needed to be less available. I forwarded Jennifer's email to my personal account for documentation, then replied, Thanks for the heads up. I ended things with Brittany last week after catching them together at her office. Good luck with your situation. Jennifer responded within minutes. I ended things with Brandon this morning. Showed him the screenshots of his text with Brittany and told him we were done. We both dodged bullets with these two. Hope you find someone better who appreciates you. You too. You deserve someone who's actually committed to you. And that was that. 2 relationships imploded because Brandon and Brittany wanted to chase the drama they'd had years ago. The excitement of sneaking around, the thrill of forbidden romance, the validation of being wanted by someone who'd hurt them before. The irony was beautiful. Brittany had spent weeks telling me I was too available, too boring, too predictable. She wanted someone unavailable and exciting. Well, Brandon was definitely unavailable because he had another girlfriend, and exciting because he was a lying, cheating mess who treated her terribly the first time around. She'd gotten exactly what she asked for Tuesday. Dylan sent me a screenshot from Instagram. Brittany had posted a story, some quote about people not appreciating what they have until it's gone, with a black and white aesthetic photo of a rainy window classic sad girl posting. The kind of thing that gets sympathy comments from people who don't know the full story. She's trying to get your attention, Dylan said when I called him during lunch. Don't take the bait. I'm not. It's just funny watching this from the outside. She's going to show up at your place eventually. You know that, right? When the texts and calls don't work, she'll try the in-person approach. I'll deal with it if it happens. It happened Thursday night. I was home, making dinner, Just some chicken and rice, nothing fancy, when someone knocked on my door. I checked the peephole first, a habit I'd developed after too many years of living alone. Brittany, looking rough, hair in a messy bun, eyes red and puffy, wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie. The exact opposite of her usual put-together aesthetic. No makeup, no carefully curated outfit, just raw desperation. I considered not answering, but I also wanted this over with, wanted the closure of one final conversation, so she'd understand there was no coming back from this. I opened the door, but didn't step aside to let her in. Stood in the doorway blocking the entrance. Austin, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for days. I know. I blocked you. Her face crumpled, tears already forming in her eyes. Can we please talk? Just 5 minutes? That's all I'm asking. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. You completely misunderstood what you saw. Brandon and I are just friends. He stopped by to say hi. That's it. Nothing more. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots Jennifer had sent me, and held it up so she could see. Watched her eyes widen as she recognized her own text messages. The ones where she called me boring and a puppy. The ones where she made plans to meet her ex for drinks. All of it right there in black and white. How did you? Brandon's girlfriend sent them to me. Well, ex-girlfriend now. Turns out he was playing both of you. Brittany's face went through several expressions. Shock, embarrassment, anger, calculation, before settling on desperate. Okay, fine. I was talking to Brandon, but nothing happened. We didn't do anything physical. It was just texting, just catching up. Emotional cheating is still cheating. I wasn't cheating. I was just confused. You're so perfect on paper, Austin, but there's no spark, no passion. With Brandon, there was always this intensity, this excitement. Yeah, because he treated you like garbage, and you were constantly anxious about where you stood with him. That's not passion. That's dysfunction. That's anxiety and insecurity masquerading as chemistry. She flinched like I'd slapped her. That's not fair. You don't understand what it was like. You know what's not fair? Spending weeks telling me I'm too boring and too available while secretly reconnecting with your ex. You wanted me to chase you, to be more mysterious, to play games. I'm not doing that. I'm not changing who I am to compete with some romanticized memory of a toxic relationship. So that's it? You're just giving up on us? Just like that? Her voice was rising now, getting shrill. After everything we've been through? I'm not giving up. I'm choosing not to participate in whatever drama you're trying to create. You wanted unavailable? Congratulations. I'm now completely unavailable to you. Permanently. Austin, please. She reached out to grab my arm, but I stepped back. Your stuff is in that box by the door. Take it and go. She looked at the box like she'd just noticed it, then back at me. Her face hardened, tears drying up as anger took over. You're going to regret this. When you're alone and miserable, you'll realize what you gave up. I don't think so. But good luck with Brandon. I'm sure the third time will be the charm. He's not. We're not. Doesn't matter. Not my problem anymore. I closed the door and locked it. Through the wood, I could hear her crying in the hallway. Part of me felt bad. The part that had loved her and wanted to comfort her. But the smarter part knew that opening that door again would just restart the cycle. She'd apologize, I'd forgive her. And 6 months from now, we'd be right back here because she'd still be chasing whatever she thought was missing. After a few minutes, I heard her footsteps walking away. Heard the elevator ding, the doors open and close. Then, silence. My phone buzzed. Text from Dylan. How'd it go? She came by, I sent her away with her stuff. Clean break? Yeah. She tried the crying thing, tried to downplay the texts, tried to make me feel guilty. I shut it all down. Proud of you, man. That takes guts. Dylan texted me an hour later. Amanda just called, said Brittany showed up at her place crying. You actually did it. Yep. How do you feel? Relieved, honestly. It's like I've been holding my breath for weeks and can finally exhale. That's because you were in a no-win situation. She wanted you to change into someone you're not. Better to walk away than spend years trying to be someone else. He was right. The relationship was doomed the moment Brittany decided being a decent partner was a flaw instead of a feature. No amount of me changing or playing games would have fixed that fundamental incompatibility. She wanted chaos, I wanted stability. Those two things don't mix. The next few weeks were surprisingly peaceful. I unfollowed all our mutual friends on social media to avoid any drama bleeding into my feed. Focused on work, hit the gym harder, picked up some hobbies I'd been neglecting, bought a mountain bike, and started exploring trails around Portland, Forest Park, Powell Butte, the Springwater Corridor. Reconnected with college friends I'd lost touch with while I was in a relationship. My life got better, quieter, but better. I had more time for myself, more energy for my own interests. Started cooking new recipes, reading books I'd been meaning to get to, working on that bathroom renovation I'd put off. Refinished the vanity, installed new tile, upgraded the lighting. The work was therapeutic, taking something old and worn and making it better through effort and skill. Through the grapevine, I heard about Brittany and Brandon's situation. Apparently, after Jennifer dumped him, Brandon did try to officially get back with Brittany. They lasted about 3 weeks before imploding spectacularly. According to Amanda, who told Dylan, who told me, Brandon returned to his old patterns immediately, flaking on plans, being vague about his whereabouts, prioritizing his friends over her. He'd agree to meet her for dinner and show up an hour late with no apology. He'd ignore her texts for days and then pop up with some excuse about being busy. He'd make plans with her for the weekend and then cancel last minute because the boys wanted to go golfing or watch the game. Brittany, who'd romanticized their intense connection, quickly remembered why they'd broken up in the first place. The excitement she'd missed? It was just anxiety? The passion? It was just her constantly trying to get his attention and him withholding it. The final straw came when Brittany saw Brandon's ex before her, some girl named Michelle, commenting on all his Instagram posts. Flirty comments, inside jokes, the kind of thing that makes it obvious there's more going on. When Brittany confronted him, he said they were just friends, and she was being too clingy and insecure. The exact same treatment Brittany had put me through, but from the other side. She'd wanted someone unavailable, and she got it. She'd wanted someone who didn't prioritize her, and she got it. She'd wanted excitement over stability, and she found out that excitement is just code for emotional instability. She ended things after a massive fight where he told her she was too available and too needy. According to Amanda, Brittany had told him she loved him and wanted to be official, and Brandon had laughed and said he wasn't ready for anything serious. Said she was being dramatic and maybe she should work on herself before trying to lock someone down. The irony was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. She'd left a relationship where she was valued for one where she was disposable. And now she was experiencing exactly what she'd made me feel. Inadequate, boring, too much of a good thing. 2 months later, I was at a coffee shop near my place, reading on a Saturday morning, when someone sat down across from me. Brittany. She looked different. Less polished, more tired. The kind of tired that comes from emotional exhaustion rather than physical. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, wearing jeans and a plain sweater. Nothing aesthetic about it. Just a person who'd stopped caring about appearances. "Please don't leave," she said, before I could stand up. Her voice was quiet, almost timid. "I just want to say something, and then I'll go. I promise." I closed my book but didn't say anything, just looked at her and waited. "You were right," she continued. Her hands were wrapped around a coffee cup, like she needed something to hold on to. About everything. Brandon was exactly as terrible as he was before. Worse, maybe, because I walked into it with open eyes this time. I knew what he was like, and I chose him anyway. Okay. I messed up, Austin. I had someone who actually cared about me, who was reliable and thoughtful and present, and I threw it away because I was chasing some stupid fantasy of excitement and drama, because I confused anxiety with attraction and dysfunction with passion. That's what happens when you romanticize toxic relationships. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I see it now. I see what I had and what I threw away, and I hate myself for it. I waited, but she didn't continue. Just sat there looking miserable, waiting for me to say something that would make this easier for her. "I appreciate the apology," I said finally, "but it doesn't change anything. I know, I needed you to know that I understand now. What I had with you was real and good, and I was too dumb to appreciate it. Too caught up in what I thought I wanted to see what I actually had. For what it's worth, I hope you figure out what you actually want instead of chasing what you think you want." She nodded, tears welling up. "Can we maybe be friends? Eventually? I know not now, but someday? I don't think so, but I wish you well. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for." She stood up, wiping her eyes with the sleeve of her sweater. "Thank you for hearing me out, and for being kind, even though I don't deserve it." After she left, I sat there for a while thinking about the whole situation. The relationship had been doomed from the moment Brittany decided that stability and reliability were boring instead of valuable. No amount of me changing or playing games would have fixed that fundamental incompatibility. Some people are addicted to chaos and drama. They confuse anxiety with excitement, dysfunction with passion. They can't appreciate a healthy relationship because it feels too calm, too predictable. They need the roller coaster of emotions, the constant uncertainty, the toxic push and pull. They need to feel like they're fighting for someone's attention, because that's the only kind of love they understand. Brittany was one of those people, and no matter how much she claimed to have learned her lesson, I'd bet money she'd end up in another similar situation within 6 months. She'd find another Brandon, another guy who made her feel inadequate and anxious, and she'd convince herself that was love. That wasn't my problem anymore. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.